What's going on, everybody? Tukey here, back again, and it is time to continue on with your New England / Hartford Whalers after, again, another interesting season. Good improvement from Michael Misa and company. Who knows what this next year will bring? Again, we do have a lot of RFAs that we need to sort out. All that fun stuff. We'll be letting go of a lot of players. Maybe not a lot, but a good amount of players. But we're in that interesting spot where our original drafted players now need their new contracts. And again, they want a good amount of money given the current landscape of the league. Someone like Dragicevic is one of the best defensemen in the NHL. So it's a weird spot to be in. But hey, we'll get down to business here. First and foremost, the coaching staff. I'd imagine we're good to go. Yeah, there's only one A-, and it's not worth blowing up the team structure for that. We do, I imagine, have... Wow, actually, there's really not that many scout improvements. That's a bit of a surprise there as well. Okay, well, it complicates things a little bit, but not a big deal. Makes it a little bit faster for us to get through this offseason. Free agency, obviously, we cannot partake, but Axel Sandin-Pellikka is looking for the most amount of money. What about UFAs? Okay, so top UFAs, I mean, Burmistrov. This dude was drafted by Columbus. Played a couple of seasons there. Low 4. Wants $9 million. Jesus. Yeah, the RFAs that are out there, I'm going to be very intrigued to see if there happens to be any RFA movements. Again, we will not be engaging in that. We will still have to sign our RFAs. I'm willing to, for the most part, wait it out just to see if we can get that asking price down quite a bit. I mean, Dragicevic, it's expensive. I like that he wants a 7-year deal, but damn, like, is he worth the risk knowing with that potential? He's going to cap out at like an 81, 82. How long will it be until all of a sudden that's a bad contract instead of a great contract, you know? But he puts up points. He does. I mean, back-to-back 50-point seasons at the NHL level. His plus-minus is terrible because we've been terrible. I think we might have to go for it. I think we might have to. I mean, at least for him. Like, Oswald, you know, that's a little bit more risky, right? Dezote, Bentham, and Parker. I think I'm going to keep waiting. The only thing that could screw this up is if he gets offer sheeted from somebody and then we settle for like a 1-year deal instead of a 10, or a 10 and 8. But I can't imagine we won't be paying him anywhere under $10 million anytime soon. So we can afford to be patient. We have contract control and we'll make the most of it. We do have too few players right now. So actually, let's take a look at our roster and our cap space. Jesus, 28 players for $19.5 million. So goalie-wise, we are going to need to sign one more goalie. And to be honest, yeah, we have to sort out these contract issues right now. So let's do that. RFA-wise, Scotty Ratzlaff. I mean, 5 years would bring him to the end of his RFA status. Or we pay him an extra $2 million there. Honestly, I mean, I'm okay with the 5-year deal at 5.675. Or we just go to 8, because presumably we're going to need Ratzlaff for a long time. An 8-year deal, if the 85% trick were to work, which is, again, take the asking price, multiply it by 0.85, $6.9 million. Over 8 years, that's not that bad. It's really not. Let's do it. Let's try to lock up Scott Ratzlaff. And then Nick Arussia. Honestly, that would be perfect. Let's go 4 years, $900K. And we don't have anything to worry about for him. Defensively, we got to solve the Dragicevic issue. 8-year deal, he wants $11.5 million now. End of his RFA status would also be 5 years. Which, honestly, is probably pretty safe, given that the league structure should change at that point. Because 11.525 with the 85% trick is still $9.8 million. That's a lot. Compared to the 5-year deal would be 7.7 in theory, and I'm going the wrong way. 7.7 is a little bit more manageable, especially for 5 years, and then we reassess where we are after that. Nolan Bentham. Okay, well, that's problematic. What's his role? Top 6? I mean, we do have the money. 3-year deal, 3.575. He gets paid a decent amount. It'd be 3.5, or not 3.5, but 305 for him. We can try that. It's a lot for now, but it's really not because our roster still isn't carved out. And then Parker would also be getting paid a lot. I am very worried about this strategy because it could mean buyouts in the future or just giving up players for absolutely nothing. That could easily happen as well. We also don't know if players are going to take these contracts, but I think we can risk it. And again, bring it to the end of the RFA status, develop these guys a little bit more, and maybe they'll be that much more likely to get offer sheeted. I mean, that's another factor of this. I would love for some of these guys like Dezote to get offer sheeted. Can you imagine getting extra draft picks for this guy? So that's the other aspect is, well, damn, do we go year by year and build it up that way and try to hope that we cash in on an offer sheet every year for extra picks? A lot of different ways to play this out, which is what I'm excited about. We will be going, let's go for Jonas Enroth as an AHL signing. He'll be a big-time cap whale for us. We'll bring him in. Defensively, let's go for Sena Akalatse, longtime AHLer. We'll sign him to a big money deal as well. Former Worcester Shark. I saw him play quite a lot. And then hopefully we have enough players and we don't get in too much trouble here. So Nolan accepts the deal. Mr. Bentham. Sena Akalatse's on. Jonas Enroth, Nicky Rue, Parker, Dezote, Ratzlaff, Dragisevich, Oz. Okay, so we did take the approach of signing players towards the end of their status. We still have $19 million in cap space. We'll see if that's the right way to go about it, as opposed to that year-by-year approach where maybe we were to end up with a couple of offer sheet possibilities. It's a tough call. I don't know. And even right now, as I'm talking about it, part of me is like, man, I think I screwed up. Maybe I should have gone for that year-by-year status. But again, we've never done this challenge before, so it is all new. All right, we really don't need another defender. It's just we need a crap load of forwards to help fill out this team. So quick and easy on that front. At least it should be. We'll go for the veterans who are willing to sign two-way deals. Let's go for, is this Josh Joris? Yes, it is. We'll give Josh the last of our decently sized contracts just to make sure that we are over the cap floor and good to go. It's just going to take a second to scroll up as far as I want to go, which is right about there. Is this Dustin Wolf? David Wolf, that's right. He played for Calgary, not Dustin Wolf, obviously, a goaltender. But it's funny that David Wolf also played for Calgary. Let's go ahead and sign him. Jamie Devane, former Toronto Maple Leaf. Sign him up. Garrett Wilson? Garrett Wilson, another former Toronto Maple Leaf. Curtis McKenzie, let's sign you up. Anybody else? Roman Horak, former Calgary Flame. I'm noticing a trend. Marek Hrivik, used to be a member of the Hartford Wolfpack. Former Boston Bruin, Landon Ferraro. Tremendous. Magnus Pajärvi, once a savior of the Oilers. Didn't happen. Brendan Ranford, son of a legend. Didn't quite work out for him, though. What else do we got here for forwards? Anybody interesting? All right, we may have finally lost the interesting Tyler Sakura. Tyler Sakura's there. Can have him in the AHL. That's fine. Louis-Marc Aubry, former Red Wings draft pick. Colton Hargrove, he used to be with the Bruins. Andrew Yogan, Another former member of the Hartford Wolfpack. Going with any familiar names, overly familiar names of years past. We can go for Dalton Smith. Let's get him in there. Vinny Arsenault. Yep, we'll bring Vinny Arsenault in there too. Couple of grit grinders in the mix. I mean, the guy's name is Dickman. How can you not sign him? How can you not? We're up to 17. Let's go to an even 20. Ty Ratty. God, he's been out of the league for so long, but I don't know how it's been so long. Lucas Lesio. We can go for him. There's Kale Kessie. And that should do it. I'm bringing a bunch of veterans to help fill out the team. We'll just pretty much spam the A button a bunch of times here in a second. Hello? Hello? There we go. Made us wait that extra day, but there we go. One more day just to play it safe. All right, cool. So our roster for this season, let's actually sort out the more boring. Actually, no, roster first because the coaches, we might have a different head coach based off of scheme fit. So goalie-wise, Wroclaw, Vinny, 2 elite goaltenders. Of course, Russia is in as a starter for the Providence Bruins. Dragicevic, Bentham, Parker. All right, we know Sena Akalatse can be sent down. How many of these guys? So we do have Stajan, that we do care a lot about, the low elite. That guy looks like an amazing option for us. There's Dan Watkins. There's Jonathan Chow. We do want to sort this by potential. So Sami Karppinen can be sent down. Ivanov can be sent down. We'll get those 2 low elites in there. So low 4 or medium 7th is the best that we're looking at right now. So we got the low elite, low 6, medium 6, another low 6, medium 7th, and medium AHL top 2. So here's the divide between best potentials and best available players. Hello, controller, what happened? Parker and Bentham, though, I think we do use them. Again, I'm good with being a better team sooner rather than later, if we can be. But, I mean, like, for Tannen with that potential, like, the cutoff then is Parker and Bentham. We could use Virtanen if need be, if he has a better scheme fit than Parker or Bentham. So we'll see what's up with that. Forward-wise, we have 10, 11, 12 at the moment. Who's in the minors? Oh boy, a lot of guys. Goodness, we got to scroll down pretty far. Jacques Delorier, definitely want him on the major league level. Jalen Shepard, tough call. Derek Bell can definitely make. I'm sure Shepard could play at the NHL level here too. So Booth is a low 9. There's Keith. Let's send down Devan, Horak. And we'd still be over the allowable limit there. So one more dude, low 9, Tate Booth. I'm good with sending him down. We'd be sending Booth back to junior, which is fine. So it's 10, 11, and 12 right there. So pretty much it's a forward core made up of all prospects, players drafted by us. That's not bad. So our defense right now isn't great. What we're going to do is optimize this by getting people into their preferred spot and then seeing what coach fits it best. So Watkins, the low elite, Dragicevic. So our defense ideally would look like this, based off of potential, although we want Stajan in there on that right-hand side. That's right. So yeah, Virtanen out for Stajan, who immediately becomes the top priority. That is actually what we'd prefer our defense to look like this season. It's just a matter of coaching. Can we make it work? From the forwards perspective, do we have an extra right winger? We do. We can swap to Zote and Bell just to get these guys in their proper positions. So Keith is a medium bottom 6. Moses is a 9. Landeskog is obviously the top line option. That's ideally the right side. At center, Delorier is a low elite. Oswald can be down an extra line. And then here, Bell's a medium top 6 over Vukafuji. Vukafuji can stay over McCarty. And then Ahonen, a medium bottom 6 as well. So ideally, and I forgot that guy was an enforcer, Ideally, these are the lines for this season, having the best players potential-wise in the best possible spots. Might need to optimize, and actually, let's do it. Why not? We need to make sure. Let's optimize the power play really quickly, just to make sure that it's as good as it pretty much can be. Although, actually, we'll have to do that afterwards, once we have the best coach. AHL-wise, there were not too many players here, if any, that we were really worried about making sure that they were in the lineup. And honestly, in terms of optimizing them, it doesn't really matter where any of these guys are. I don't think so. And again, the right trigger scrolling is often broken, so that's why I'm not using it. Jesus, yeah, we ended up with a lot of people. Cool. We'll just leave the AHL then the way it is, and again, try to get the best coach in there for the job. So let's take a look at ye old coaching staff. I'll quickly fix the scouts, because that'll be the fastest thing, and apparently we do not have an OHL scout at all. This person should have stayed in Liga, but I am too lazy to wait. So let's get OHL scouts in there. I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it, right? I mean, 2 Russia scouts, 2 Liga scouts. Don't know if we need 2 SHL scouts. You could argue the Allsvenskan scout is not necessarily worth it, but for the most part, then, we do need 1 extra scout in the queue. That's where that comes from. So let's move Vatanen over to Quebec and beyond, of course. And we will send our final scout, again, the Allsvenskan, rest of world. It's just not worth it anymore. Let's go again into our own backyard of US East. Why not? There won't be as many players there as some other regions, but we'll have that be the decider. Didn't mean to back out. Coaching staff. So we are going to have to fire this goalie coach really quickly to pull this off. Is that A-level scout still out there? McPherson. Oh, it is worth knowing, but yeah, screw it. All right, so Bejan is a 59 with our current setup. Chorney is a 59 as well, so it's still Bejan. Kaliko is a 58. What about Watton? Watton is a 56. So right now it's still Bejan. Andrews is the last person that can take it, and he does at a 61. Only player he really doesn't work with is Skinner. Skinner and Parker both, but if we go take a look, what do the situations look like here? So we still get a +3 on the top line. Defense is pretty atrocious in terms of the chemistry. But this is the coach that gives us the best possible chemistry. That sucks. So there's not too much we can do there. Well, because of that, based off of certain numbers, I'm going to go with Kaliko as the head coach then. Let me see what that looks like. Just because they're a generalist, they have the greatest influence on the coaching staff. +5 on the top line. Defense is even. All right, cool. So yeah, Kaliko is the coach, is the one with the vision. So let's see here. Power play and penalty kill. I do typically like to go with whoever has the best power play as our associate coach. And that would be you, Andrews, because you also have the best teaching over that guy. So we'll have Andrews on there. Our top penalty kill option, we'll go with Watton as the associate coach. Or an assistant coach, I should say. And then goalie coach is Lessert, which is perfect. And then NHL-wise, or AHL-wise, Jesus, I mean, I had a 50-50 shot, and I got it wrong. Let's go with Chorney as the head coach. We'll go with Booze as the associate, which is fine. You can be the assistant. And to be honest, we don't really need a goalie coach. I mean, it's Nick Russia. He's not going to get that much better. But let's see. if Ernest Agon is willing to come back after I had to temporarily fire him. Temporarily. To be honest, I think I'll just leave the power play. No, don't be lazy. Don't be lazy. Don't be lazy. That extra power play time for like Misa and Landeskog will be huge. Okay, they do have the power play time. I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it. Let's trust it. I'm going to leave it. It's fine. No, it's not. Damn it. Again, goalie-wise, Dragicevic and Stajan need that power play time. Watkins, preferably, as well. So, Misa, Landeskog, and we're going to want Bell on this power play. And then outside of that, it's Delorier and Moses. So, Dragicevic can lead this power play. Well, actually, Stajan's got Thunderclap and send it. Let's have Stajan lead it. And then Dragicevic and Bell, the 1Ts. That's not bad at all. Set up Bell for the 1Ts in the middle. That's looking decent. That's looking decent in terms of top power play. And then the second power play is a mess, but Watkins is there. So screw it. It's good. Only thing that we will do is at the strategies, the distributor should be Michael Misa. The finisher should be Landeskog. And the puck carrier into the zone, Misa. That's perfectly fine. We want the hands, or the puck in the hands of Michael Misa, and we want the hands of Michael Misa to kind of do the heavy lifting for us on the power play. So let's see where we stand. Ernest Agon is back, and we are ready for another season here with the Whalers. Question is, where exactly will our team stand in terms of these ratings? Whoops, we start off our season against Philadelphia. A back-to-back Montreal the day after, so at least it's 2 home games. How do we compare to Philadelphia? We played twice in our first 3 games. 51, 55, 70, so they do have a better offense and defense of 58 and a 64, despite the fact that they only have one player with an ability, but again, we do have Bell, for example, as a 47 overall on our top line. And actually, before starting this next season, maybe we just take a look at, it basically looks like AHL teams. So Anaheim, for example, with Gavin McKenna, they don't have much on the defensive side of things. They are still going to have some random dudes signed here and there, but that is pretty much what most teams are going to look like. Berkeley Catton's up there leading the way for Atlanta. Also, there's 47 other teams. That's going to take a long damn time. So let's not do that because, my God. And let's just start simming. Again, trade deadline, not a factor for us. Our roster is our roster. And we'll see where it carries us. Yeah, it's just not too much else to say, right? Like the season sim, it really is just a matter of sitting here and seeing how it plays out. Also knowing, of course, that the season sim is going to be a little bit more slow than we would prefer, but that is what it is. But given that we don't have trades to make, given that our roster's set up. It's not like, let's call up and send down this guy to try and make a playoff run. Like, no, we have our players set up. So in terms of prospect potential, we hopefully get the best development possible. There are a lot of people who will say, play that low elite in the AHL if you're going to sign him at all. But I do think, in a sense, it might be best for us to just kind of rush some of these guys to the NHL because we've talked about it before, right? There's always the chance, especially with low elites and low elites that have abilities, my God, that they can just skyrocket in terms of overall. We have seen it time and time again, and I'm hoping it works out here once more. So we will see kind of how this season plays out. Doesn't look like we're going to be a playoff team at this rate. Doesn't look like we're going to be the worst team in the league, again, but we are going to kind of be middling. And of course, that's half the league, right? Or more than half the league. That's the entirety of the NHL. 32 teams instead of being in the NHL, 32 teams in this setup are going to miss the playoffs with just the top 16 making it. So there is only so much that we can do. So much. But all in all, we're feeling okay. I mean, again, we're not completely terrible. We'll be there in the lottery. We haven't seen any like drastic lottery outcomes yet in terms of like, oh, the 25th team moved up to number one. I don't even know if that's technically possible with the whole moving up by 10 type of thing. But I think, yeah, the moving up by 10 rule is there. So definitely, like, if you're way back in the lottery, there's really not much you're going to be able to do. But hey, we're almost through this season. I'm very intrigued at how we're going to be looking, and we'll take it from there. We shall see. We shall see. At 27, 31, and 3, and that didn't last long, we'll list ourselves as conservative buyers to try and, you know, spark the team into having confidence that we believed in them and that if we just could have found the right trades for us, that anything could have happened, even though, again, we haven't had any confidence whatsoever in being able to make the playoffs this season. Straight threes. When does that happen? 33, 33, and 3. That was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And honestly, we've had a strong finish to this season, and you could say, why are you happy about that? You probably screwed yourself out of a higher draft pick, but for the most part, I'm really not that upset to at least see that progress. We know we're still going to get somebody half decent, but yeah, feeling pretty good. 39, 38, and 5. Nowhere near the playoffs, I'm sure. Oh boy, Matthias Landeskog. We'll talk about him in a second. But let's take a look at the standings as the Toronto Toros are the only team out of the Hunter division to make the playoffs. 93 points for Quebec wasn't enough, which means these other divisions could be an absolute shit show. Out of the Kaplan division, the Raiders with Connor Bedard, the Golden Blades, the Phoenix, and the Arrows have all made it. The New Jersey Knights were punching bags this season. The Hatskin division, Carolina, Miami, Nashville, and Birmingham have all made the playoffs. The Swamp Rabbits and Baltimore Blades were the punching bags of that division. The Murphy division sees the San Francisco Sharks and the Calgary Broncos make the playoffs. San Jose, nowhere near everybody else. The Dano division with just Oklahoma City and Michigan as the Minnesota Saints, the only team under 80 points. And in the Baldwin, oh my God, San Diego, Salt Lake City, and Phoenix all over 100 points. So the San Francisco Sharks take home the President's Trophy, for lack of a better term. How far out from a playoff spot were we? I mean, we're gonna be pretty far down there. Yeah, 36th in the league. So we'll still end up with a half decent pick. But yeah, under 70 points was that sweet spot for top odds. For our players this season, Matthias Landeskog. Oh my God, he's insane. 18 power play goals. Setting him up as a finisher was a good idea. 108 penalty minutes. Landeskog, insane. If this guy's not Rookie of the Year, who the hell will be? Say hello to Matthias Landeskog. He and Michael Misa are going to make some beautiful music together for a very, very long time. From there, Asher Moses with 52 points. You had Vukafuji, just 25 points, but 16 goals for Derek Bell. Decent improvement. Hopefully that continues. And then Jacques Delorier, the other low elite with the lowest amount of points on the team with just 6. Defensively, 63 points for Lukas Dragicevic, who is showing up now as a 78. You had Parker, Skinner up there. Dan Watkins with just the 22 points, showing up now as a 61. Stajan with just 19. Only 4 points on the power play this season, which is pretty disappointing for him. Second most shots amongst defenders, only behind Dan Watkins. Wroclaw with a 915. Vinny with a 919. Our goaltending looks pretty safe and secure moving forward. So we'll take a look throughout the league here. Yeah, Theo Ko is, he's insane. Connor Bedard up there as well. And Leo Carlson sticking around with the team that drafted him in San Diego. Then you had Amir Wallace and our own Landeskog, who was up there, as Landy was one of 4 players alongside Coe, Hummel, and Bedard to score 60 goals, which is insane. Damn. Matthias Landeskog, first overall, and rightfully so. Defensively, Caleb Purcell continues to just be a beast. And again, this was the guy drafted in the 3rd round. What a find for the Golden Blades, as Yves Perry's also up there. But Dragicevic in the top 4, one of just 5 defenders to have a 60-point season. And shout out to Bogdan's Hodas, which is a tremendous name. Top goal scorer was Perry. He and Purcell were the only guys to break 20, and Perry broke 30. Goaltenders, the winningest was Tommy Napier, with Samuel. You're missing a few letters. And then Weitzman was also up there. Shutout leader with 9, Tyler Wall in Miami. Save percentage leader, Cam Johnson was up there. For more of a starter, it was Joe Ranger. Vinny was up there too. Rookie of the year, I don't know. It might go to Russ Volk. 4th overall pick to Vancouver. It might. For the sole purpose of only 3 more points, the plus minus for Volk is significantly higher, and he took about half the penalties. If I had to guess, it's going to give Volk Calder this year, which is a shame, because Landeskog really does deserve it. We'll see what the game chooses to put emphasis on for these particular awards. But yeah, not holding my breath on that one, as we will take a look at the playoffs. Our AHL team, by the way, in Providence, did make the playoffs, which is nice. But at the NHL/WHA level, San Francisco, Birmingham, New York, Salt Lake City, San Diego, Washington, OKC, Calgary, New York, Michigan, Toronto, Phoenix, Carolina, and Dayton, Miami, and Nashville. Have Seattle made the playoffs since winning the first championship? I don't know if they have. I feel like they won that first title and disappeared. Just outright disappeared, which is outstanding. Let's see what else we have here. Let's see what we got. Oh, first round's not completely over. I thought it was. Let's see. Can we get to the next round? Quite a few sweeps there. AHL playoff round's over, and Providence moves on. But let's see what we have here. So San Francisco over Birmingham. No 16th seed nonsense this time. You have New York. They'll be playing San Francisco. San Diego will play Oklahoma City. Michigan and Toronto. Carolina and Miami. I think, just Michigan over Connor Bedard and the New York Raiders. That was the only upset of the first round, which is kind of crazy based off of this playoff format, that the top seeds all advanced with the exception of one. I didn't think that was going to happen. We're off to the semifinals, as are the Providence Bruins, by the way. San Francisco made it over New York. Oklahoma City over San Diego. Michigan pulls off another upset, sweeping Toronto, and Carolina outlasts Miami. So it's 1, 3, 5, and 15 as your remaining seeds, which is kind of crazy. Good to see a number 1 seed in San Francisco moving on, but we'll see what Oklahoma City can do against them. A 2-2 split through the first few. OKC one away. AHL playoff round is done, and OKC pulls off the upset. It will be the Hogs, the 5th seed, against number 15 in the Michigan Stags. So this time it was not the 16th seed to pull it off, but the 15th seed, as the Providence Bruins, who were the 14th seed, will play 13th ranked Abbotsford for the Calder Cup. So it could be our first bit of hardware in this series in the form of a Calder Cup, which, I mean, we can only take so much credit for it if they do win, given that we signed a bunch of veterans, and unfortunately it looks like Abbotsford might wipe the floor with us. This is looking very familiar to 2011 so far. Oh my God, if we win Game 6, oh my God, it's literally playing out like the 2011 Cup final. Oh my God. Game 7, baby. Let's go. This is incredible. 1-0 Providence, even off on Garrett Sparks. 2-1. All right, so not totally like Game 7 because, well, Abbotsford scores. Oh, they tied it. It's going to overtime. Do we care enough about this Calder Cup? Game 7 overtime? We don't really have anybody that we're rooting for on this roster. I gotta be honest, I don't care enough. I do want to see a Calder Cup Selly, but at the same time, who cares? And Abbotsford wins it. I made too many Vancouver 2011 jokes. The Abbotsford Canucks win the Calder Cup in 7 over Providence, while the Oklahoma City Hogs have won the championship in 2027. That AHL run was amazing. What a run for OKC, by the way, led by Clark Caswell and Andre Molnar. You had Jorgen Sundstrom up there too, Ludwig Laband. Yeah, they're most recent, or not their most recent, they're missing a couple, but some former first-round picks in there. Defensively, Sam Sedley, Francois Vienna leading the way. And in goal, my favorite Jeopardy contestant getting it done with backup Carson Barneson, who, again, he kind of shafted with a medium fringe. That guy looks more promising than that, but come on now. In terms of awards for this season, actually here again, the full look, it was a 5-game series over Michigan. So great series by OKC, knocked off number 12 Calgary, 4 San Diego, number 1 San Fran, and number 15 Michigan. And again, too, a good run for Providence, but eventually their luck ran out. In terms of awards, again, now the first 5, Seattle, Hamilton, Nashville, Quebec, and OKC, as I do believe, the President's Trophy curse continues. Abbotsford, of course, winning the Calder Cup. So far it's been 4 real AHL teams and just 1 non-AHL team. Theo Coe wins the Art Ross as well as the Hart. Purcell wins another Norris, no kidding. Bedard wins the Bing, and I knew it. They gave it to Volk off of plus minus. You hate to see it, but unfortunately, Landeskog gets robbed of the Calder. Clark Caswell wins the Conn Smythe. Jeopardy wins the Vezina, as well as the Jennings. Kozior, I forget that guy's first name. It's like Landon or something like that, wins the Masterton. Carolina's head coach wins the Jack Adams. Zach Benson wins another Selke. Theo Coe wins the Ted Lindsay, as well as the Rocket Richard. In the AHL, Evan Weininger, I think it's, I don't know. Evan, most points. Noel Hoffenmeyer was the league MVP. Gignac with the most goals. Danielson, the top rookie. Hoffenmeyer, top defender. Top goalie was Riesen. MVP of the playoffs was Urbanik for the Abbotsford Canucks. So the question now, will there be any lottery madness? Do we have some lottery madness? The answer is not really. Baltimore and Columbus move up. New Jersey gets dropped down. And we will have the 13th overall pick in this upcoming draft as we look at retired players, including former NHLer Dennis Everberg, former Portland Pirate Luke Adam, and defensively, Ethan Prow on his way out, as is Logan Day, and ECHL legend Matt Register. In goal, shockingly, Jonas Enroth did not retire, but Yanni Ortio did. So, go figure. A lot of coaches just retired too. Some players becoming scouts. Good to know, good to know. So, you know what? Let's do this really quickly. The draft. We got it. We got it. Baltimore. Again, we can't trade up, so we'll go ahead and sim to pick number 13. As Baltimore gets Thompson, a medium elite. So no franchise caliber player this year. What a pick there for Anaheim. Minnesota, you done goofed, especially with the Finnegan off there. Poor Anaheim. They really goofed this draft. So at 13, have our scouts done anything? Doesn't look like it. Oh, man, so many of those attributes are unconfirmed. What about this guy, Gormley? 3 years out, but a Marchand comparison. our scouts are really struggling. And I obviously, like, that's going to be a theme of this draft. Unless it's somebody at the top, we're not really going to know. We do know about some medium top 4 defenders. Fisette's not looking that bad. Daniel Parento, we just don't know for sure. I think we're going to have to go with a safe bet of one of those defenders, because otherwise, well, here's a forward, Johan Lindgren. I think we have to go with the safe bet of somebody who we know for sure is good. Otherwise, it's just too risky. Like Adams, all those abilities were unconfirmed. Matthew Terrien, also not looking that great. Tom Weimer, definitely didn't read that as wiener. Marita, same thing. We just don't know. There's a starter goalie in Brady McMuffin, but again, the last thing we need right now is another goalie. Bunch of low elites that are 2 out of 4. I think we have our list. It's got to be one of these 4. So we have 2 forwards, and 2 defenders. The defenders, it comes down to Ivan Nazarov, who is 20, or Garrett Hamill. And given that Nazarov's ratings aren't extremely better, I mean, he'll be ready at 22. Hamill should be ready at 21, so there's not a huge difference. Obviously, you'd tend to go with a younger player. Forward-wise, Lindgren's 18, Jacques Benoit 17. 3 years out for both of them. Neither of them with abilities. A little bit more confirmed for Lindgren, especially in terms of having that good shooting category, and that might be the difference maker because he could be top line left wing next season with Michael Misa instead of the low elite. Whereas Benoit, the unknown is nice because he could be, I meant to go to timeout. He could be even better, right? So that's the difference. I think we're going to go with the forward. And I think we're going to go with another Swede. We took Landeskog last year. And I think this year we're going to go for Johan Lindgren. I mean, both forwards are 3 years out. It's either Lindgren or Garrett Hamill. I don't really trust either defender. Let's go for Johan Lindgren from Färjestad, who is a 65. Not bad, right? Not bad. I mean, it's a bit of a drop-off, but Los Angeles took Bednar. Obviously, there's a tremendous chance of there being someone that we missed out on. Wheel wasn't that bad, but we didn't really have information on him. A lot of medium top 6s. The defensive equivalent, same with like Nazarov. I'm not seeing, Mercier, but we knew nothing about, oh my God, wow. Well, congrats to Hamilton and your scouts knowing about that guy. That would have been nice. We had no idea. Oh my God. Marcus Sundstrom as well, with the silver all alone. Mayer as a defender as well. Again, our scouts didn't tell us. Caden Marshall. Bolt, oh my God, our scouts blew it so badly. Oh my God. Oulet, they brought us back to Christie. Why is the fucking skipping so broken? Fuck. There was Oulet, there's Brouillard, and none of these guys were on my radar. There's Benoit. So yeah, our scouts blew it, man. And then Adams at Jesus. Those are players we can't miss out on. We might have to go a little bit more hands-on. And then Matthew Terrien as a low elite. Probably would have been pretty nice. Oh, our scouts let us down big time. They really, really did. And I get it's a tough job. There's more players to look at. But yeah, we might have to be a little bit more hands-on now. For the sole purpose of our scouts are just not getting it done. There are some low elites it looks like we'll be able to grab later in the draft, if not soon. There's a couple other medium top 6s here, at least those 2. One was a 3 out of 4. I did notice that. That's wildly disappointing. It really is. So goalie-wise, there is one dude on our list, Petri Ludman, but again, we do not need him. Or people said Lidman over here, but I always heard it was actually Ludman. So next up, Jared Strome, 18-year-old defender, 3 years out. Who knows? He's a bit of a risk. There could also be Dane Dietz, 4 years out, so not looking amazing. Again, both those low elites are confirmed for later in the draft. Gerby also looks like a long shot. On the right wing, we have Jalen Berry, who's a long shot to be decent. Same for Malachi McLaren. Mike Persaud, unconfirmed abilities. And then Tuka Sekola, who 19 years old, 3 years away, might be our best bet right now. Next up, though, in terms of who should be drafted, it's Pete Gray. There's Glennie, who's a long shot. Guy Huberdeau, Cody Joseph. Maybe we go for Gray just because he's projected to go next. I mean, a lot of these guys are, though. There's Hunwick and Sammy Salio. I think we got to go for the sure thing and Tuka Saikola. So, out of the Malmo Redhawks organization, 65 overall, not bad. So, again, we get two pretty solid wingers to improve this team. I am sure there's more talent that we missed out on, let's be honest. There's also a lot of talent that we rightfully avoided. Turns out that McMuffin goalie was pretty good. Given the circumstances, Boynton had no idea he was there. Yeah, given the circumstances, it was Vandermeer. We did pretty good. Ludman was great, but again, we didn't need a goalie. We did all right for ourselves. Stamfus would have been pretty good as well. All right, cool. We did well there. We did well. So next up, Persaud, Dietz, Joseph. I mean, think about it. Pretty much anyone projected within 150 has to be selected here, which means we are looking at Gerby. We are looking at Dietz, Persaud, Barry. Oh, my God. All right, our draft board's about to empty out real quick. Real quick. So in terms of those potentials, I think it's going to be Ken Glennie. Because Little we could take later. Bakos we can take later. If we don't want to best guess it and hedge our bets here, it's got to be Ken Glennie of the Swift Current Broncos. So he's the pick. And that is our third medium top six forward. So we are getting some forward depth in to the team. So can't be upset about a draft like this necessarily. Obviously, it would have been great to know about those first round steals, even though I don't think Lindgren is all that bad of a pick. And it doesn't look like we really missed anybody too crazy. Like Foss and Spurgeon would have been okay. So next up, it's going to be these two guys, just to make sure that we get them. So Bernd Bakos, the 18-year-old, will be our next pick. He's going to be a long shot, but of course he is a low elite. Indeed, 51 overall at 18 years old. So the type of player that you're happy to take in the fourth round or later, just to try to make sure, like, hey, you're the one that can give him a shot to develop. We'll do the same thing here with Daryl Little. Big boy at 6'4", 215. He is our next pick. He is also a lower overall, low elite. This has been easily, top to bottom, our best draft. The only question is, in these final two rounds, can anything happen for us? Solomon Neal's probably projected way too low to actually be decent. We're going to go for Russ Ray. Just hope for the best. I mean, 2 out of 4 for medium top six. It's a long shot, but let's go for Russ Ray. He's trash. And in the 7th round, again, hoping for the best, let's go for Solomon Neal of the Guelph Storm, who is also trash. But still, top to bottom, our best draft yet, no doubt about it. Would have been nice. Why does it keep doing that? Would have been nice to end up with one of those big-time steals. I think we took all forwards as well. But we do get some additions that should be pretty nice for this team. We're going to have a lot to sort out in this offseason. But obviously, goalie-wise, we still have our main three, which is great. defensively, we're honestly not set up that poorly for the state of the league itself. And again, we got a lot of low elite defenders. Actually, that was a lie. Bakos and Little were defenders, obviously. And then forward-wise, say what you want, but you look at the prospect pool now, and getting in that trio of medium top 6 looks nice. It looks like exactly what we needed. So, and Landeskog's up to a 90, even though he did not win the Calder. So, we're looking pretty good. But man, would it have been nice to get one of those low elites with an ability at the end of that first round.